All right, here's hoping the microphone on this webcam works. Working on a 1956 Smith Corona 5LE white carriage model, electric 12 as they call it. And I just dropped my screw. Seems to be working. Good. All right, so I'm in a reassembly process. I figured I'd start recording some of this stuff because some people seem to enjoy the process of fixing all these machines up. The desk is a mess right now, so forgive it. But yeah, I'm in the finishing. I still have to clean the shell. So there's ample amount of nicotine staining and dirt. So we'll see what we'll use for that. But yeah. I've already gone through the machine. I fixed the clutch pack. It was catching really bad. So what happened is because the grease buildup in the clutch here on the side of the electric motor, it would engage and disengage at a very rapid pace, which caused the machine not to operate properly. So I took the assembly apart. Fortunately, I don't think I captured it on video. Cleaned it, lubricated it, put it back together, and there's not even a second twitch. It comes on right away. So belts are old. They have some cracking in them, but they're not as bad as some of the machines I've seen. They're in fact felt backing, I believe. So I think they should be fine. If not, sure, vacuum cleaner belt or something I can finesse would make it work just fine. It's not like you're working with a tape deck and speed has to go down to a T. But we'll see. Anyways, I'll try to keep up with the dialogue, but there's times where I'm just in thought, so I forgive the silence if there is such a moment. I hope you enjoy these videos. I hope you do more of them because it's a convenient way for me to do my work whilst you get an insight of what it takes to do so. And at this stage, I'm afraid it's just polishing. All the issues have been rectified, but like I said, there's more videos coming. We have to do some live streams where we dig into some serious projects, and there's definitely a few on my plate for this winter. And I won this. I won this Smith Corona through a Wheel Fortune contest that was held by someone nearby. Coincidentally, she was willing to ship it out to anywhere in the States, as far as I know, in North America. And she just happened to live fairly close to me. So when my name was drawn, coincidentally, very easy to get it. It was just a matter of a friend holding on to it for me. This is a neat machine. It is a Smith Corona 5LE Electric 12 portable electric typewriter. Now, I like these 5LE, 5TE models very much. It's one of the only electric typewriters, along with the earlier Electra 120s, I will work with. I'm even hesitant to touch the ones with the auto returns because half the times the plastic gears that they weirdly used for that function will be stripped, degraded to a point where I can't fix it because replacement parts are very hard to obtain. These machines still have the manual character turn lever, so I don't have to worry about that. They're just, in general, very pleasant to work on because although they're an electric machine, they have all the mechanical traits of a manual typewriter. And it just makes things so much more pleasant to work on because as much as electric typewriters are a fascination to see and to learn about, there just comes a whole different chapter of expertise and tools and parts you need to work on it because electric typewriters have a significantly different wear pattern than manual typewriters do, and these are about as basic of an electric typewriter as you get. Now, this particular example has italic or cursive font. I think it's italic. 12 CPI. I have the owner's manual to fly, and I believe a warranty card for it in the case and key. I'll do a more in-depth review by the time this machine is together. And someone recently, and I'll have to see who it was, fellow Canadian, sent me the missing Smith Corona type bar brush for it. The owner's manual has a sun fade mark, which shows the perfect shape of one of those brushes, and I figured it being as nice of a machine as it is, it'd be nice to have all the bits and pieces for it. So although I'm sure this machine came with a dust cover at some point, everything else I have. I can find a warranty card for it at some point. If I don't have that, I think it might be a supplementary page. But anyway, into too much of detail here because I'd like to do a proper review of this typewriter. I feel it deserves one. And this is likely one of the only electric typewriters I intend on keeping because it is such a nice machine and rather unusual with the italic font. Now I have one with Techno font as well. It's a 220. It's broken. It's a parts machine. I've taken it apart and I intend to do something fun with the typeface of that machine and put it in a different typewriter I have way ready to be serviced. Spike Deluxe. Should be fun. But until then, let's focus on the project at hand. Let's just fill isopropyl alcohol everywhere. That's a good thing. Yeah. Anyways. This is in. Essentially, there's not much left of screws. The body parts. The bushings are absolutely shot, as you can see. Let's figure something out. Go. We'll put the machine aside and we're going to dig into the actual body paneling. The danger with this usually is that the crinkle finish in these machines have degraded to a small degree. So what happens when I'm going to clean this now is I'm going to take a small amount of paint off if I'm not careful. Usually I like to start in an inconspicuous place and see if we can get things going to an extent where I trust the process, but we'll see. This is a back panel. I use a mild cleaner. It is quite comically called LA is Totally Awesome All-Purpose Concentrated Cleaner, Degreaser, and Spot Remover. They advertise it actually puts cleaning power into plain old water. And the first thing that they advertise it removes is a blood stain, so you know this is good stuff. So we're going to give it a whirl here. I've got plenty of rags. We'll give it a 3-in-1 oil treatment as well. First, I'd like to see if I can get some of this yellow nicotine staining off because it is thick. Oh yeah, there it comes. Well, it's coming up roses so far. Now, doing this, you want to be careful because you'll notice at first applying any type of cleaner to old crinkle finish is that it will sting it. And what happens is it will take off dirt in certain parts and not in others, and it looks like you'll have moist paint. Now, if you're using an abrasive chemical, that might actually be the case. But if you use something as fine as LA's Totally Awesome all-purpose concentrated cleaner, it will actually preserve the paint. It'll show you. You see, it's hard to see. You see spray markings. That is the cleaner taking off the dirt, but keeping the paint. I'll show you here in a minute. Trust me, I've done this many times, and every time I've had a great success rate. Because all you see here is not a discoloration. This is clean. That is dirt. Years and years and years of hand grease and smoking. It'll do that. And after this, we're going to give it an oil treatment. And then we'll do some smoothing of paint. Give a bit of gloss, even though it's crinkle. You'll see what I'm doing with it. Not bad, huh? Just a quick wipe down. Now, a good alternative to something like pre-bought cleaner would be to use something along the lines of Palmolive or any liquid dish detergent because it is non-abrasive, but it is excellent in removing old grease and such. I've had great luck using that as well. Crinkle finish is difficult to work with because it is very easily damaged, removed, because it is a paint that is exposed more because of the crinkle pattern. You can wear off that crinkle pattern in no time if you're not careful. Anything like rubbing alcohol, spritzers, what do you call them? anything harsher than this. Windex, you don't want to use it because you will take the paint off and it just ruins your project. But as you see, it's multiple shades lighter. I'll probably do one more try later on. There's still a bit of staining here on the side. But that already looks so much better than it did before. We have the actual cast. Again, there's staining present. It's a well-used machine. It's been maintained. I was surprised how clean it was on the inside. No, barely any eraser shavings, no Tipex or whiteout. And yeah, I was happy with this win. I've been a collector for many years, and I appreciate everything unique and unusual and rare. But at the end of the day, I can still get excited about the simplest of machines, just to their build quality, their niche designs, I suppose. And I have my white wheels. With that, I mean the typewriters that are impossible to get, but that I'm keeping my eyes out for. And then there's the machines that I just enjoy having and owning and using. So at the end of the day, you can still, even though the typewriter has gained such notoriety and popularity, pick up one of these machines for very good prices. I mean, the days of $20 typewriters are mostly behind us, but it's fair to say that these machines have upped in value for a good reason. They're designed and engineered in such a way that it's not seen much in consumer products. And it's something to appreciate, and it's something that is worth an honest price, in my opinion. I know I'm rambling. I apologize. I'm trying to make a conversation while I'm actually doing some work for the purpose of this video. But this is coming up rose. Now here, I'm going to show you something a little bit. I took off a little bit of the paint here, being a little too harsh, but at the end of the day, there's still enough. Now, this is actually mostly dirt. Yeah. It's moments like these that make you question your vices, I suppose. I've been around smokers most of my life, and you don't think much of it until you start cleaning the stuff around and you realize what it does to the inside of your lungs when you look at something like this. But hey, there's so much in the world today that we have to feel guilty about doing. At the end of the day, I get the satisfaction of cleaning it up and making something that most people thought was worn or waste. Good looking again. I enjoyed that. Okay, so before I finished all the paneling, give this an oil treatment and see how it reacts. It depends on the shade and it depends on the paint, but sometimes you can really get a shine in this crinkle finish using good old 3-in-1 oil. And all you do is you lather it on thick. So you go to town with the oil, lots of oil, in a big bulk bottle, and you just like this. What you do is you let it sit for about 30 seconds, lathered in oil. And then what you do is you get yourself another rag. When you work on these machines, go to Costco and buy yourself a 20-pack of these because you're going to need them. And they're only $30, I think, for a 20-pack. Better than going down to Orco or any auto parts store and buy yourself one roll for $3, $4. Anyway, it's more better for you. You go through these quite a bit. So you want to make sure that you rub off the oil, but don't rub too hard because you want to have it set in the crinkle a little bit. You do this a couple of times. And if you do this properly, this method will not attract dust or dirt. So you want to get the right shade of gloss. And it just makes the paint look cleaner and better. And you can do this on any crinkle finish. I find the method changes a little bit depending on the type, the color, and the type of crinkle. But for example, I just did this on a Royal Model A Deluxe, and it came right around. It was quite amazing. Get rid of the gods. You know, if you leave some oil in, make sure you get rid of it. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a bit of shine to that now. Not bad, huh? I'll put this aside. Here, we'll do the cover. Your application rag again. And just go to town with the oil. Rub it in. Just do a little force, not too much. It will work its own way in as well, but you'll also pick up the last dirt, debris that you left behind, cleaning it off with the cleaner. Lather it on thick. I should start making these videos therapeutic and turn into a typewriter mechanic Bob Ross. That's going to be popular. Well, today we're going to clean some happy little type bars. Now for the hard to reach places, if your rag doesn't get there, just grab a Q-tip and do it that way. Or if you have an air compressor, just blow it out. again, there's a bit of shine to that now. Of course, you're never going to get a mirror shine. It's critical finish, but I've come to discover that if you don't expose this to anything extreme, it will uphold that shine for a long time. And another good thing of 3-in-1 oil is that if you have an old typewriter that was supposed to have, that used to have glossy paint, and the original lacquer, for example, is yellowed and cracked, which is often a thing with Remingtons. Some Royals do it, but Remington is notorious for it. I had a Fox that had that issue. And you can bring, you don't necessarily revive the old lacquer, but you do bring back the shine the typewriter used to have. It will hide quite a bit of that yellowing, that ugly, crusty degradation that first. Oops, hold on. You will get rid of that ugly, crusty degradation that lacquer undergoes as it ages, and it all depends on the exposure of UV rays, circumstances in which the typewriter was stored, as to how bad something like that is. There's no real pinpointing on what typewriters are more sensitive to that issue than others. Although, like I said, I've seen that mostly with Remingtons, and I have a Fox that has it. It's not a common occurrence. It's just something that when the typewriters were made, I mean, the designers never planned on them lasting 120 years. Although it would be tremendous if we were able to tell them that. The machine such as this, what we're working on now, no one in their right mind would advertise back in '56 as a typewriter that will still work in the 20s of the 21st century. Before we find a computer of today's day and age that will work at the same age as this typewriter is at. I mean, look at that. That looks like brand new. Quite remarkable what a little elbow grease can do. This is the carriage ruler. The treatment for this is going to be a little different. So this has an ink stain on it. Along the top, that red ridge. I don't know if you can see that, but so we'll try the cleaner first to see if that will take it off, and else we'll use another method. Yeah, seems to do the job. Another trick with this. Yeah, I'm going to apply it anyway. Usually ink stains come off. If you want to be careful with paint, just use a polish. Turtle wax will do it most of the time. Because what that does is it takes off a little bit of paint, but it keeps the shine. I'm going to say, I'm going to use turtle wax, but I'll use mothers. Even on anything non-black gloss, well, gloss it has to be, but it doesn't have to be black. It will bring a little shine to your paint. Lightly apply it. It's only going to get as glossy as it was originally intended. Be maximum. Sometimes I wonder if the thoughts that I'm saying make any sense to people that are watching this, but there you go. Let's see. Yeah. See that. That came out all right. So all the pieces are clean. There's one more thing, and that is the platen. Now the platen is actually surprisingly good, but it has some grooves in it, and it looks like it sats for a long time in the same spot because there is ridges, as you can see here and here. You see those marks? There, there, and there. Those are feed rollers, so it sat stationary for a long time, and I can actually see there's some transfer of material from the feed rollers, which they look okay. They're a little dry. They don't seem to be cracked or anything like that, but I'm going to show you a good way of bringing that back with some ordinary cleaning supplies here. Hold on a moment. I just got a question. Anyways, back to it. I was show you how to. This is my method. Now, every typewriter mechanic out there uses their own technique for doing things. I don't criticize any of them. If they work, they're a good thing. That's the thing. You got to keep that in mind. Now, if you douse a typewriter into WD-40 and expect it to work in 5 years' time, yeah, no. But if you have a method that's different from mine and it works, I applaud you. That's terrific. You know, we need to find as many ways as possible to service these machines, and I'm open to all of them. One of the ways I treat my plastics is they're, in this case, they're a little, this one's hard, it has some ridges, it's in good shape, no cracks. I pull out the drill wax because the of the traits of this material. So what it does on paint is that it will take off a very fine layer of paint or a very fine layer of polish if you're using a glossy paint. And what it also will do, because of its abrasiveness, the compound will remove a very slight layer of rubber on all typewriter platen and smooth out any imperfections it has. And I will show you, because it will actually come off black on the rag, and that is rubber. It doesn't hurt rubber underneath because you remove it afterwards. Again, I use a regular cleaning. Use like what I have here. Non-harsh, because rubber is a natural material that will degrade if you use something that is hard on it. So this is not non-liquid, so it won't, in such a sense, affect the rubber. It will damage it over a long period of time. So I will show you how you do this. So gentle strokes, don't get too hard into it. You'll feel some resistance, and that essentially is you sanding off a little bit of rubber. Now, I've seen people use fine grit sandpaper. I think it's a little too much, but again, it depends on the situation. So you can see I'm taking off a little bit of rubber, and I've already removed the imperfections caused by the feed rollers. And there was some white discoloration here on this side. Let's see if we get rid of those. Essentially, most of this is old ink anyway. So you're not even removing rubber as much as you think. Now, if I had access to some rubber conditioner, I would, but I haven't found it yet. Nothing. Most of the rubber conditioner I found here is automotive, and it would be too harsh with something like this. And as much as people say brake clean works well with these, I just seeing what it does with other materials, I can't imagine it would do much good for old rubber. At the end of the day, you can only do so much. That's the thing. You can't bring back. There's no way you can revive old rubber. You could probably change the consistency of it to a degree it feels it's softer. But old rubber is old rubber. There's nothing. It's a form of degradation that you can't reverse. I can do one more session. I still see a little bit of the grooves here from the feed rollers on the Platen, but if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's not going to affect the functionality of the machine in any way, shape, or form because they're so shallow, and it's not even damage to the Platen. It's more of a transfer of material from the feed rollers to rubber. And so the texture of the rubber is already much better. Hold on, I dropped my rag. It is significantly smoother, that's for sure. The ridges are less deep here. Imperfections are gone. You can run your hand over this now, and the little notches I felt earlier have all disappeared. And as far as typewriter platens go, this one is all right. It's the old fingernail trick still seems to work. I can make an indentation into the rubber, so it's hard, but it's definitely still very usable. Just the strike action of an electric typewriter does benefit Platens over a long period compared to the inconsistent type action of equal to strike force. It does differ at times. Here's the typewriter. I'm going to assemble it, and then we will do the last bit of polishing. There's still some cleaning to do in some parts, but I can do that with it put back together as well. So we're not going to worry about that for now. We'll give this a quick scrub. And Ford feed rollers are old, but they're still good, so I'm not going to worry about anything there. And give this a quick clean. Dirty rags here for a moment. Paper table slightly smudged, so again, even though this is really designated only for black paint, I find that Mother's Polish does a great job at bringing back the shine about anything that should be glossy. And it cleans it up. It removes marks, dirt. Be mindful that you do run a rag over everything beforehand to prevent you have anything that could scratch paint further. Next card holder came out. Realize that probably should take this off before I install this after I install the Platen, because else it's going to be a tight fit and it's already not easy to do. As you can see, none of these videos are scripted because I can't find half the tools I have. There we go. But I do. Most of you who have worked on these know it's not easy to get the paper feed plate back in without undoing the entire carriage side assembly. But before, it's a matter of being cautious so you don't scratch anything. Take your time doing this. Hold on. Oil on the feed rollers, that's always pleasant. Okay. Now the inner trim pieces go in first because the shell goes around them and over top as well. And on the electric Smith Coronas, this can be a tricky fit, so make sure you don't chip the paint. That one went on pretty good. Oh, and in order to get the front plate off, I found you have to loosen. You don't have to take off the color selector. Although either way, it'll make things a little bit easier to make it fit. It is a tight squeeze. But get it around here. Like so. Remember, I'm going to say the tabs go on the front plate here, go over. Maybe not. No. Doesn't look right. Looks better. Yeah, for those who wonder, I think one side over, one side under. This looks right. I think this trim piece over here goes over top the back, the faceplate. Seems to sit correct, right? Magnetic screwdrivers can either be a curse or a blessing, but in the case of typewriter repair, they are a must-have, I find. Okay. Now comes the main shell. Now, these typewriters don't have a special notch or anything for the power cord, so at least that's a plus. I should be fighting with that constantly. Well, they are quite flexible. Don't stretch them out too far because you can deform them to a point they don't sit right anymore. And if you ever have one screw left over on the body paneling on every Smith Corona, there's a screw at the front that's offset. And I always forget to put that screw back in. Don't know if I'm the only one, but here's my top tip of the day. Don't forget the screw in the front. If you're ever lost on which screw goes where, the slightly longer chrome screws usually seat on the bottom, and the shorter ones go on top. The thing they have bad, there's some wear on the front and a little bit on the back, but other than that, this machine, I don't even think the cover has a carriage scratch on it, which is a common issue with these. When these are not closed properly, they scratch heavily here. This one had it once, twice, and that's it. So it's better off than the average, that's for sure. Another thing with these machines that's so nice is that the alignment of the body paneling is quite flexible. Machines where if you don't get the screw in just exactly the right place, lid won't shut or anything like that. Gaskets on this body. Little rubber grommets that should technically hold the shell in place, but they're so far gone I'm not going to even bother. Use washers or something like that, but yeah, I really should be using washers for this. Might get back to it eventually. Screw heads are big enough for them not to slip through the holes in the shell. Ideally, you want something of a washer to hold everything in place. And again, I don't have washers nearly the correct size at the moment, so it's just going to have to do for it. The downside of old rubber is that it can either turn into granite or turn it into a weird sticky substance that just gets on everything. If you've ever had an old boom box or a cassette deck or something like that, and there's times where it won't play the tape, you take it apart and you don't find the belt, but you find this weird black goo that used to be the belt, and it's completely liquefied. It stains the fingers like you wouldn't believe. And polyurethane, type of rubber or something. I made a video recently of my Atlas Model 17, and I got some feedback that it was a little too shaky to watch. It was a spur of the moment video, but I'll promise you I'll make a better one. Maybe I'll do a live video of that too. Who knows? Let's see it right. Back panel of this machine was quite crooked when I got it, and it still ain't exactly doing what I need it to. Based on some tool marks and warped screw heads, I'm going to say this has been apart a few times already. Although I don't have the service records for it, unfortunately, so I don't know. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to loosen all the shell screws because we're going to have to do an alignment here. The back panel doesn't nearly reach where it needs to sit because the shell is too far forward. If we loosen this, we can adjust everything in tandem like thus, and now we're getting closer to where we need to be, although for some reason it's still not. There we go. Click, click, click. That felt better. This is shift. There we go. Right. Perfect. We need these two little black screws with a wider gap in the threads are destined to sit in the rear to the corner. And scratch there. It doesn't help much when the brush you use to blow and clean these out, not this one, loses its tears, bristles. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 more screws. So I'm forgetting one already because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one of these screws I have to find 4. Where is the last screw? Right over there. There's 4 go into the cover and 2 go into the back panel. After that, get ourselves a bottle of champagne. We baptize it like a cruise ship. Devalue it in full doing that. But take it. Oh, and let's not forget to tighten the shell screws. There we go. radical as it is, this is literally my computer webcam taped to my working light. But it works, it works. The old saying goes, if it's stupid but it works, it's stupid. And I always vow to get better equipment. I end up doing this with what I have. Anyway, so I guess that will be a promise for another day. Time to put some of that cotton ribbon I have in this machine, especially with the font it has. I find that italic and script fonts they just don't do as well with nylon ribbons as they do with silk and cotton. Although good luck getting silk ribbons these days. It costs you an arm and a leg. Cotton in itself was an investment, I tell you. It's not something I. It's not the stock I put in the machines of other people if I service them for them because that was splashed out on that. Mind you, sometimes it's nice to have good things, and it costs a bit of money, but I do really like. Well, help me. Let's see. Oh, jeez. Oh, for the love of God, come on. The alignment's off by just changing the screw intake. Boom, done. Okay, cover. There's the cover. Now this is always tricky because you've got the ribbon spool dishes in the way of gaps underneath the carriage. Allow you to slide in one, slide in two. No, two. Come on. Okay. Come on. One, two. That's why. Now, this is usually the part where I'm finishing up and I screw something. But nope. Okay, last four screws. Now, if you ever take one of these off and you're lost, one of these screws is placed in carriage rails. Although it doesn't seem like it's part of the cover, it's not something that would hold the cover in. I don't know. My ramblings might actually help someone at some point. So there you go, another thought for the day. And then conclusively, after this, we're first going to make sure the body panels aligned to a degree, and then I still have to clean the back panel on the carriage. I haven't done that yet. Taking that off is a pain in itself, and I never bother unless I really go into it. But these machines usually don't warrant such deep clean. General, it's been either side of the spectrum when it comes to the shape these typewriters usually come in with me. Um, never seems to be medium. I realize my face is in the way of everything here. I apologize. So was the last screw that bites you, doesn't it? Everything is in place. You know, it's this one gives you profit or something. The alignment isn't perfect. I see a bigger gap on this side than I do on this side. Without me pushing, so that's going to be an issue anyway. So it shouldn't affect the functionality of the machine anyway. As long as the carriage clears the black back plate and the cover can open freely and the spacebar doesn't catch in front, we're in business. So that shuts. Guess I could have cleaned this a little better around the carriage knobs, but most of it's worn away much already, anyways, because of use. I think I won't bother. Coming off, even though I cleaned it. Oh, oops. Do that too many times, and you've got a big project on your hands. Back is something. Where does it think it's here as well? It's actually worn smooth. Lost it with that. Okay, now with that done, we're going to do some final polishing, and then we are going to fire ribbon in it, functions, test it. I realize this live video is going on for an hour and a half now, and I've only shown you about a tenth probably of what goes into a project like this. So for those who don't know, like what it takes to repair one of these machines, I mean, it's not like I don't know what I'm doing, but if you want it done right, you want to get the details in. It takes time. It takes time. I'm sure you can. Some people out there can dish these out in half an hour. I could probably too, cutting corners, but I just like to do it once right, and do it well. It's something nice. The feed rollers on this machine are a little dirty. You gotta clean those. It has white out on it. It's never not too worried about it. It's using a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Bring it back in here right away. There you go. They used whiteout on this machine, but either very sparingly or very cautiously, because the feed rolls are the only part. So, well, as the index card holder a little bit has some. So, whoever owned this machine in the past was very vigilant with it. It was very cautious with it because it's in nice shape. It's definitely seen use, but it is a very well kept, well used typewriter that likely will outlive all of us with the condition that it's in currently. So. Someone asked me a question. In regards to when these machines were manufactured, from what I saw, these were made from 1956 until roughly 1963, alongside with the manual equivalent, of which I have an example here I care to show you. Stumble over my Oliver first. But here, Dan, this one's for you. You're still there? This being a live feed, and you've been watching for a while, but that right there is the manual equivalent of that. And I have another one I will get to very soon. I also have a black one. These days, when it comes to Super 5 series typewriters, I go for the weird colors because you can find the brown ones everywhere. I did pick up one recently, actually. It's in very nice shape, except it got damaged at the store I bought it at, and the whole cover was caved in. So I managed to straighten out the cover as much as I could, but it will never be the same it was. It is what it is. I mean, they'll find a replacement. It has the owner's manual and the key and everything, so I am tempted to fix it up. Every machine saved is another one for future, right? For future use, and they don't make them anymore, so I want to save as many of them as I can. You know what? I'm in a phase now. I'm going to fire a ribbon in it, go through the functions, and see if it will talk to us. And I have some original Smith Corner spools. Now, some of them are a little chewed up, but they do have the label on them, so I'm thinking of installing some of those. And I should have more than one by a long shot. I think I have 3 or 4. Well, I already have 2. Well, that one is absolutely... do I want to put these in here? You know what? Screw it. Sure. They look pretty good. What do you think? Let's do it. they come with original Smith Corona spools, although this one is a later one, replacement. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with these because I have them for a reason, and this is a good reason. Now, get my stock out. I don't know what spot actually. One moment. I don't really have this out for all these. Well, that wasn't a very good idea to leave the ribbon out. Nylon, so that goes in there, that goes in there. And this is my, oh, I might have a pre-threaded ribbon already for it. So the spool fell apart in transit when I bought about 300 yards. And do I have one already in there? Yes, I do. I don't have to bother. Ta-da! Brand new ribbon. The narration of this video must be, I don't know, unusual to say the least. But I have one that actually looks better than the one I was going to put in. So all I have to do is boom, boom, boom. Grab this one, hook it. Get the alignment right. There we go. I talk to this when I'm alone by myself too, by the way, so I don't think you're getting a special treatment. That and no, anyway. Cotton ribbon. I think it's my new favorite. It just does the job it needs to be doing to a degree that is certainly more than acceptable. You know, nylon ribbon, it is, I've had this conversation before. If you want durability, nylon is the way to go. Longevity, nylon's the way to go. But if you want a fine print and you want consistency and you some ink on the ruler there. Oops. If you want a nice, clean, black print, deep, thick, and luscious, get something for that here. You go with cotton or you go with silk because it is a finer grain and it won't show on the page as much. You will see the fabric pattern. This page is horrendous. I'm not running this through my machine. Hold on, I'm trying to get some clean stationery here. Okay, now, yeah, cotton has a finer grain, so the texture won't appear on the page as much. Back here. I've also come to realize that I have too many typewriters. Now, is there such a thing? No. Until you stub your toe on the same one 3 times. Because you have no other place to put it. Okay. Now, moment of truth. Plug this bad boy in. It's possible some of the keys stick. I still have to align the segment plate a little bit, I think. And if that's the case, we will do so. Turn this off first. Come on. There we go. No, at the end of the day, I think I'm going to run Q-tip through that switch because it doesn't look very appealing. Something I overlooked. There we go. One of the most touched places on this typewriter, and it's gungy to say the least, but that's better. Here we go. I feel something rubbing. Oh, never mind. Is it gone now? Comes right on. You hear that? I might have to realign the clutch just a little bit because I think it's rubbing just a hair. They always make a bit of noise, but there's a noise it makes when you turn it off. It's a rattle. And this one has it slightly. And what happens is if you don't have the pulley aligned properly on the shaft with the carrier pulley in the center, it can vibrate a little bit, and that's the rattle you hear. At least it's what I've had in the past. I'm not gonna worry about it for now. It comes on right away. It doesn't even skip. It doesn't like it. Sometimes when these clutches they stick, what happens is there's the two weights on it, and with centrifugal force, the weights move out like a car distributor, and they catch onto the two notches that rotate the pulley on which the belt runs. And what happens is if those weights get gummed up, they will flutter a little bit, especially on startup. And what are you doing? Yeah, something else. What happens is they will start to flutter and they start to catch irregularly, and it makes a horrendous noise. Eventually, it'll chew the gears out that way too. So it's the best thing to do is just take the time, take the shell off, remove the clutch pack, clean it, put it back on. You're good to go. However, I'm rambling. Let's get to it. I'm going to go through all the functions. I'm going to go through all my characters, see if the shift alignment is correct, if it feeds the paper correctly. A good way to tell that is if the page touch start to end like that. Run it through all the way a couple of times, see if it's consistent. If it shifts from the position you put it in, it doesn't. Okay. Now, might have to adjust the tabulator weight just a little bit. So there's a brake on those. And what happens is if they're out of alignment, they can either not do their job properly or they're a little too good at it. And I think this one's a little too good at it. But I'll fix that later. Okay. Oh, there we go. Color selector. I have it. And then to implements here. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so I think the issue is that spring here in the front. So there's a spring. You look at any Smith car from this era. If you have any Smith car from the era, there is a U-shaped, squarish U-shaped spring on the front that resists the strike force of the type bars, and you need to align that in order to get the right type action. And this one's so out of whack, I won't even make an imprint on the machine. So I'm going to just shift this down a little bit. And what you do is you loosen the two front screws on the segment plates and just shimmy it down a little bit. You want it probably between the notch at the top of the segment and the opening that shows you the placement on the ruler. So let's see. That fixed it. No, not yet. Maybe that's not the issue. That could be the pickle. Just get dirt in this. Okay. I wonder. Is it going to be like this? Are you going to be annoying? I think it is. All right. I'm going to have to take it off, actually, because I think the spring's out of alignment. If that's the case, that's going to be an annoying fix, because it means it should be fine, actually. Should be fine. There you go. No, you're fine. That's not the issue. This is the part where we start problem solving and we see, oops, what did we do wrong? Because I know this typewriter typed just fine before I started getting into it. So let's see. Well, I did something because now it's typing. Not very happily. So we're getting somewhere. Whoops. Let's see. I'll put that in there a little bit. Now, oops. I always double page. I say to everyone, you should double page. Makes for a cleaner impression, and it adds to the longevity of your machine. So it's typing, but it's not consistent. I'm not liking it. Me aligning that center clip seems to have contributed to the issue. That said, I wonder. Loosen the screws in the faceplate, but not take them out. And we're going to run it and see how consistent it is with that loose. Down. No, that's too far. You don't want the prong sticking out the bottom. Boom. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Because what's happening now is that where did my brush go? This is bugging me. I had a brush. That brush. Where is it? Oh. Get rid of this little do that because it's bugging me. There we go. Yeah. Honestly, for the life of me, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna take it out. And why am I doing that? Because I'm not liking the fact that the clip comes out the wrong side of the back plate or of the segment plate. So I think we're gonna have to look at this again. Back to the drawing board. Kill the power event. I managed to zap myself pretty good. Although I've done that already with this project. Don't you guess that hurt? I assure you. Sure as hell did. Okay, I'm going to be smart this time. Not remove the fourth screw because that thing in the back is just annoying. I was right. Seem to be correct. What am I missing here? No one. Looking at what way to segment, there's a secondary bracket in some of these, but not all of them. What is going on? Maybe it's only the 5 LE model. 5 LE. Open. Tab. Load. Large. I think I found the issue. So what I've done accidentally is I've installed, there's another clip here, and if I look at this right, it's facing down and mine's facing up. Okay, so unfortunately we do have to remove the fourth screw, which means we're going to have to fight with that back bracket here in a minute, but this is the bracket I'm talking about. Instead of facing up, it has to be like that. Bet you that fixes the issue. All right. Okay. Excuse me one moment. Let's see if I can manage this. Just give me a moment. There's a high possibility of one of my housemates wandering in here in a minute, so I apologize in advance if that was the case. You live with so many other people in one house. It's hard to find a bit of quiet, but so far so good. Okay, all right. These are always tricky because there's a 3-piece part held in by 2 screws, and you've got to juggle all those pieces, and all the pieces want to come apart in your hand. So that's clip that goes in the middle. Pain in the butt. Pain in the butt, but it seems to be seated still, so we're good. There we go. Curious to see if this will fix the issue. Typewriter should be able to print clearly through all the ranges on the touch control and the copy setting. If it's not, something's awry. And since we're doing this right the first time, we're fixing it now instead of pretending we didn't see it and moving on. Because that is the plan. Doing it right the first time. Okay, now I gotta fight with this bad bracket. see if we can manage that. Where did it even go? Don't tell me it fell in. Guess what? It fell in. You see, this is why you do this before the paper plate is in, because now it is such a headache to get it back out. Optimism is key here, because you have to. There's no alternative. I have to find my needle nose pliers. There we go. Fish them out. Come on, let me have it. Boom. Oh, where did it go? Oh, fell out of the machine. Here it is. Okay, now the way we're going to do this is we're going to take out the page. We're going to take out the now loose index card holder because it's not held in. Work around a very inky ribbon. And we're going to fight this clip back in there. This is where it gets interesting because I have to juggle this piece, a screw, and my screwdriver with one hand and jiggle in this piece with my needle nose pliers on the other side. For you who collect stamps, you must be feeling very superior now. Could I potentially fold? No, I can't do that. Can't and I won't. Yes, I'm talking to myself. Okay. Guess we're getting in from the other way. All right. This is ridiculous even trying this, but we'll see. Oh, I think it bit. Did it bit? I didn't bit. Come on. Couple threads. There we go. Would you believe it? It did it. Oh man, the ruler is now completely covered in ink. I guess we're going to have to look at that here in a minute. But first things first, let's get this in place. I should have taken the ribbon out. Oh well. Oh well. There we go. Second screw. Okay. You fight this in. Boom, boom, boom. Is this going to even do what I need it to, or are we just going to have a fight here? Come on. There we go. Let's just pretend that's seated right. There we go. I wonder if that's too low. It's too low. It's too low. Boop, there we go. You don't want to see the two ends of the U-clip sticking out in the bottom, by the way. If you see that, it's sitting too low. And that will also interfere with your type action. It will interfere with two type bars, so you don't want that. I got to keep these loose, by the way, because I'm going to have to realign the segment plate now. First things first, let's get rid of something that's bugging me, which is that enormous ink stain I formed. There we go. And gone. All right. Okay, it's feeding the right way. piddly bits. Now, try it too. Let's see how it's liking it this time. That does look better. It looks more correct as well. So. Yeah, that all seems straight. Get my dirty finger prints off that. Go with Chrome or go home. Okay, so we're gonna loosen that all the way. There we go. It's light. So unwound I can't even do anything with it. Is that the issue here? I think it is. That's not liking it. Hold on. It's getting better. We're getting there. Move that down a smidge. There we go. What is your problem? This is risky. I'm aligning it in shift, but it might work because it wasn't doing what I needed it to at first. I think now it might. Give me a moment. Ooh, all right, hold on. What's it getting up? Oh, I see. All right. Let's go back. So it is that C clip there getting hung up on. It's just a little too high. How about now? Whoops, that's too far. There. That's better. Tighten that. Tighten that. Yeah, that's 8. I wonder if that's the issue. Let's see, because I'm thinking it might not be. The problem is I don't have a consistent impression. I wonder what that could be. Tighten this back up. This is, yeah, there we go. Let's see. So that one might be too loose. This is problem solving. So the issue I have is that the type is just not consistent. So I can't thread it any further than that. So. We're gonna have to dive in because I have an issue. It is also not. Something is interfering. The issue is that there is a problem here somewhere. I have to figure out what that could be. I'm starting to suspect that the issue at hand that I've been ignoring is a contributing factor to why my typewriter is not working. Let's see if I'm right. So, theory number one. It was the U-clip. It was not. The motor sounds like it's laboring. Very plausible. Why would that be? Because maybe the shell is out of alignment. It's rubbing against the motor and it's not allowing it to turn. Let's see, I wonder. Okay, well, it's not making that rattling noise anymore, so we already fixed an issue, which was that Okay, so we fixed the skipping issue. That vibrating noise is something on the carriage, and it's annoying me. But we fixed the skipping issue, which I presume is the body rubbing against the motor. So we fixed that. So when you turn it off now, you don't have that noise. That I'll figure out what that rattle is. It's something in the back of the carriage here. That time. The only issue I have with it now is that there's a couple of characters. We're still not out of the woods yet. We're getting there. It's not terrible. I don't like the fact that I have to up the carbon copy selector to 8 or 9 in order for it to make a clear impression on the page. And another thing that bugs me is that the U and the G both present stronger impression issues than the rest of them do. And I don't know why. So let's stick this down a little bit further. Let's see if that makes a difference. Where is the G? That's the G. And the U is Okay. You remember what I said about the little tabs at the bottom of that C or that U clip I was talking about that I could interfere with the type action? Well, it aligns perfectly with the type bars, and I'm not doing what I need them to. So let's up this all the way and see if it now will talk to us. Even more. Even more. Okay, so that fixed the skipping issue for those two type bars because what is rattling in the back there? It's just annoying. But I fixed there the U and the G. The U and the G were sticking. Well, the carriage was sticking on the U and the G, which was caused by the two prongs sticking out the bottom of the front segment plates. So I've upped that a little bit. Now let's see if it interferes with shift. I think I can live with it. It's not great. Let's see. You know, I'm almost willing to believe there is some form of alignment issue that was caused by those two prongs sticking out that has worn certain parts over time because it's displaying issues that wouldn't have happened just by taking this machine apart. Oh, you know what? I think I'm right. I think I have a bent linkage. Let's see if I can fix that. Maybe that's the issue. Well, there we go. There's a kink in that one. So let's see. That fixes that. There comes a point, you know, you're 3 hours into a problem, you're getting pretty tired of this issue, but that could be that, and then the U one as well. Yeah, there's a kink as well. You know, with these machines, it only has to be slight. Let's see. Now, I could be talking nonsense and this doesn't make a bit of difference, but you never know. Just for kicks. See what it does when I double up the page. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why I prefer to work on the manual typewriters, because there you can toy with tension, strike action, essentially avoiding the problem altogether if you want to. Ooh, that spring is slack. Let's do something about that while we're at it. Now, the mechanism of these machines is not complicated. Let's see. The way it works is that you get the electric motor, which runs off a clutch here on the side, which runs to a carrier pulley, which goes to the front shaft here, which rotates at high velocity. What happens is that every time you hit your key, there is a tab that comes down and catches onto that rotating bar, and then it swings forward the type bar, the key lever. Spacebar works essentially the same way. That's all it is. So we have to ask ourselves, why is it that there's three characters, the U, the I, and the G, that don't print clearly, and the rest of them no, it's not terrible, but maybe it has to do with the fact that I'm technically running 4 pages, so. It's getting also to be that time where I might have to call it, and we're going to have to get back to this at a later date, so it's not a big issue. I'm running it at, well, it's at 1 now. That's not terrible. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. V won't even bother now. Well, the motor is running smoothly. Well, only other possibility I can think of is that perhaps, although it is a tad warm, but they're supposed to be warm. Only other thing I can think of could be the issue is that the belts that I thought were still good enough are not good enough, and what's happening is they're slipping. We're not just doing not good of a job at rotating carrier shaft or the actuator shaft here on the front at such a force that they strike the page a little more willingly. Well, as you can see, there's even moments where I can't figure out the issue. Such as why I want shits and giggles, just pull this out. Up, come out. There we go. Get rid of it. With a memento. Maybe I'll just keep the clip out. Maybe the clip's bent maybe or something. I don't know. It's typing's fine now. I applaud for anyone who's still watching at this point, because I can't imagine this is very entertaining at this point, and I apologize. But this is just one of those things working on these machines. It's problem solving. You find one of these typewriters and it's just, they're not doing what they need to be doing. Let's see. That's for kicks. Turn this around. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it helps. Sometimes. When you work on typewriters, just test run them if you can, if they're in a shape that you can test run them. To an extent, you can read their trades. And with that, I mean, see what's right, see what's wrong. I usually do. I'm surprised I didn't with this, but it would help, because what happens is, like, if you get any issues that arise following the completion of the service, you can at least determine if the issue is caused by you doing something to the machine, or if you are dealing with a problem that was already existent at the time you took the typewriter apart. Mind you, I've set so many countless hours like this, diagnosing and figuring out the issues. And you know, at the end of the day, as hard as it might be to believe watching this video and likely being bored out of your mind at this point, it's therapeutic. I love it. It's what makes me do this in the first place. Alignment's off. The alignment's off. Let me fix that. There you go. It's not typing terribly at 6, so that's good. How about now with the screws tightened? You know what? I think we're getting somewhere. I want to toot my own horn because some characters are still not quite as inconsistent as I would like, but let me show you. That's at 9. Let's move it down to 4. I'm going to say it's a combination of things. I think at the end of the day, I'll give the motor another lube. It might be a little tired, but because it was, I have to remind myself this machine was frozen when I first got it. The motor was seized, and it took some lubrication by my friend to get it going. So it's very possible it's if someone tried to turn it on, wondered why it didn't work, left it running for as long as they did, and might have burned the motor out a little bit. Wow. Excuse me. I think we're in business. Alignment's good. The V and the G, they're nearly there. You know what? I'm going to say, give this one final wipe. This, what? An hour and a half to figure out? But it's not running very warm. I'll give this motor some more lubrication. And I think we're there. I'm happy with that. The inconsistency in print that you see there is the change of the carbon setting. Touch controls here on the bottom, and that is the copy selector. So depending on how many copies and how many carbon sheets you have in there is the strike action. And the scroll here on the bottom determines the type, the action you need to perform yourself on the keys in order to get its preference. Sweet. All right. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I for those that are still watching this or are intending to watch this at a later point, I'm just gonna get a little dab there because dirt. For those who are still watching this video at this point, I applaud you for your dedication and your time. Thank you so much for sticking around, watching this process. I mean, you only saw a little bit. I didn't show any of the cleaning detail or anything like that that was involved in bringing this machine up to snuff. But, you know, every machine repaired is another machine saved. And you get something as beautiful as this. It's Smith Corona Electra 1 or Electra 12. 1956. As far as I can find, this was the first year these machines were made, and this is an early example. And yeah, I'm going to do a full review on this, on the functionality and all that. I promise it will be a little bit shorter cut and arranged, and we'll go from there. But I hope you enjoyed this live video. I hope to do more of these. I figured I might as well just keep the old webcam taped to my shop light, and we'll just keep it rolling once in a while I'm working here in the shop, because I seem to have some people interested. But for now, until then, it's 7 o'clock my time. It's time to call it an end. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.